Hey, Kowalsky here, and welcome back to another video. We're back here Wednesday. You know how it goes. This is basically the only series that keeps me alive and wanting to make some more YouTube videos because I'm pretty busy. But okay, I'm gonna come back. It's gonna be great, guys. You just have to wait. But okay, continuing our series with the World Chess Championships. Now we arrive at the year 1876. I'm just a little bit rusty today. You're gonna have to bear that in mind. So the challenger here is Joseph Henry Blackburne, and he's actually a pretty strong player, and he finished in top spots in notable tournaments. So you know, for a pretty long period he was in the top 5, and for an even longer period in the top 20. And in the year that he challenged Steinitz, he actually tied with Steinitz with 10 out of 11 in a tournament, and he finished ahead of Zuckertort. Also in another tournament before that one, he finished second behind Steinitz. So he was really kind of like the next up. So this is a very great game played by both of them. You know, it takes 2 players to achieve a brilliant game, and this one is really fascinating. So this time I actually kind of haven't spoiled the result just yet. I mean, for those of you guys that know chess history, obviously you know the match, but for the guys that don't know and are still curious about it, well, let's see the Scotch Gambit. Here Steinitz plays with the black pieces, and he plays the very big sideline Queen h4. And not many games have been played in this variation with Queen h4. And now Knight b5, an even rarer move by Blackburne. Here bishop b4 check, and you know, the line goes if c3 bishop a5 and discards the c7 square. So now black is just completely fine. So instead we have bishop d2 pressuring the bishop, but queen takes on e4, and now bishop e2, obviously you have to block. And now just king to d8, the only move guarding the pawn, and simply castle. So white kind of has the advantage from the opening, but okay, there's still a lot of play left in the position for black. That's why this line is actually playable, and it has been played not very recent. Like the top games date back to 2012 is the most recent game. But okay, we have bishop takes on d2, and now queen takes on d2, and there have only been like 3 games played up until this point. One of them continues a6, and you know, we follow that game, but that game continued bishop to d3, and this game continues knight 1 to c3. So we have a new game, and now queen to e5, and simply knight back to a3, b5, and this move kind of is a little bit over expanding by Steinitz. He really lost some crucial, you know, tempi with this move, because here, you know, a better move would have been to go queen d4 to try and trade the queens, because if a queen trade happens, then it's actually black who's better, because now, for example, bishop d3 guarding the pawn, now you simply develop normally, and you just don't have any single problem of the position with all its benefits. So instead of that, after b5, you know, Blackburne immediately takes advantage of these open diagonal. So here we have knight g2 to e7, kind of reinforcing this knight. And now rook to d1, because the knight was attacked because the pawn is pinned, right? So why not b4, you might ask yourself. Well, if b4 and knight c4, this is a thing, but you know, it was pretty complicated, because after knight e5, c takes on d2, actually not in this position, sorry, why not b4 right away here? Because okay, you can take the knight, but then bc3 and you attack the queen. So if queen d3, now you can go rook b8, and you can save the rook. This was actually an option, but Steinitz did not like the fact that knight c4 came, and then, for example, queen c5, and then you had this crazy attack here, queen c3, maybe, because you cannot take the bishop. You gotta be very careful. You're gonna lose this pawn and the rook. So Steinitz did not like this prospect of the attack. So instead, In this position, he went for queen to f5, just guarding this pawn, now allowing his bishop to be developed. But rook b8 first, now kind of preparing everything, and queen to e2. This is the final like adjustment that Blackburne makes, but it's one move too many. Instead of that, here he had to play much more active. Bishop e4, attacking the queen. Queen gets booted back, and now bishop takes on c6. A very crucial move, removing one of the defenders, and now just going knight to d5 as you know, the square is not guarded anymore. And after, for example, a move like queen h6, trying to trade queens, you don't trade queens, you go queen c3, just pressuring everything. And again, b4 is definitely not on the cards. Queen g3, and you're just getting shredded here. You have to play d6, and now all sorts of crazy variations are ensuing after this. So again, Blackburne really had the game in his hands. Queen g6, and black just has to wait, and white's really the only one that can win. But instead he plays queen e2, kind of preparing this whole idea, but now just d6, and black is actually solid enough, fast enough. So you have knight e4 and bishop to d7, and here queen e3. So you see how Blackburne lost the tempi. Well, Steinitz also plays a very inaccurate move now, f6. Instead he should have played rook to e8 here, but okay, setting up some discoveries, but this is not pleasant to say the least. c4 here, and again you're just there's all sorts of tactics flying all over the place. So we have queen e3 and now f6, and this is the moment that Blackburne is, you know, just gets the position back under control. But here he goes g4, very aggressive move, but very inaccurate move as well. Queen g6, and black really slides out of danger. As you can see, black's configuration has actually paid off in a way that, you know, his pawn structure is pretty solid, and really white's knight doesn't really have a good place here on the edge of the board, as the saying goes, knights on the remardim, and black is the one that's actually initiating the attack. So let's see how Blackburne tries to defend himself. We have knight takes on d6. As you all know, the best defense is the attack. So we have a piece sacrifice, number one, and king to c7, now bishop takes on c6, removing the defender finally, but now going just queen g3, and here it's you know, you have some discoveries set up, but just king c8, and now you're just, you know, you're out of trouble. Rook e to d1, and you know, you're attacking this bishop, but it's not fast enough. Rook to b7, and here we have queen to g2, a very interesting move that, you know, prepared, like for example, if b4 is played, yes, you have rook takes on d7, after rook takes on d7, queen takes on c6, and you're just getting destroyed here as black. But instead of that, we have simply a move like knight b8. Now there's no knight to take, the bishop is guarded 3 times, and I mean, 2 pieces are never enough. Okay, let's say 3 pieces are never enough for an attack if your opponent has at least 2 pieces defending, and you know, that's simply what the case is now. And rook 1 to d4. I mean, Blackburne tries to make some progress and tries to activate his pieces, but at this point it's already too late. After the queen trade, he's simply down a piece. I mean, you know, the sacrifice was pretty nice, but the position was lost already. So, you know, he tries to play a little bit on, gives a few checks, tries to defend a little bit, but in the end it's just a matter of converting for Steinitz. He defends nicely, he attacks the rook, and now you know, Blackburne tries to go for some sort of counterplay here, but just he simply gets annihilated here. Rook d2, and you're not even gonna look for a rook trade. You're just gonna take the knight, remove the guard of the rook, and now you're a clean piece up. And I'm just gonna show you how Steinitz won this game. There's nothing really to analyze, because there's no way you screw this up as black, and c3 just resigns for white, because if you try to go rook g2, let's say, I mean, just you can go rook d2, You can play anything here. You can play rook c4. It doesn't matter because you're just gonna get forked if you try to defend. So yeah, I mean, Steinitz outplayed his opponent, and you know, in this very critical position here, making the transition between an equal position after f6. For example, a move like c4, trying to free the knight, would have been a better option, you know, to Blackburne's g4. That was very aggressive. So just to give you a sample line, c4, maybe knight e5. Maybe you could now go knight takes on d6 like in the game, but what you have to play here is bishop e4, and then these moves are really like scumbag moves, because right, I can obviously say that with an engine, and you know, just say that okay, this is a variation that is okay for white, queen a7, and you have this massive attack. But during the game, obviously, it's much harder to find these moves. So a very nice game. I thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Kowalsky out.